The world of hacking and cybersecurity is getting more and more in the news lately. And I wanted to do a couple demos here to show what does that look like. So here we have a standard computer. Now, we've all utilized some type of email program. It's one of the most commonly used items in our business environment today. We send it documents, we send resumes, we send sales agreements, invoices, and this is the greatest and easiest way for us to move data between companies. And oftentimes the data that's sent through there gets ran on a local computer. So there's a lot of security ways of protecting against attacks from this method, but the problem is that it requires the end user, which is the actual person running the computer, to also have a sense of knowledge of what is and isn't safe to do. So it's not just an IT protection level, because the only way to have a truly protected computer is to have one that's turned off, locked away in a safe, and inaccessible to a computer. And the stat that I'm familiar with right now is that 86% of all hacks get done by hacking the person, not the infrastructure or IT as a whole. So you can have as locked down of a system as you want, but if the hacker gets your username and password, well, they can get past all of that. So let me show you an example of how that could happen. So as all good hackers, you go to your handy dandy command line tool. Now we're going to go ahead and email off and email exploit. In this example, our exploit that we've written is a Word document, and we send this from a trusted individual. In this case, it's going to be someone that they work with quite a bit. So we do a bunch of geeky stuff here, and as you see, we just got an email in. And this email here is from Mr. Bill Gates. Now, Bill Gates, well known in the tech industry, and Alice works with him quite a bit. So when Alice got this email, it was not a surprise. And he wrote it, not a virus. Now, this is really important, because if it was a virus, he would have said so. But it says it's not a virus, so she feels it's safe to open up. And the key here is that this is from a trusted individual. Now, this could be from one of your coworkers that got hacked and sent you, and the hacker is sending you an email. It could be from a vendor that got hacked. So your security could be locked down, protected, but the hacker was able to write a custom software that goes ahead and gets into your security and sends you a document that looks legitimate. We at Cooley TechLink have found clients of ours that their vendors have received fake invoices before, because for legitimate bills. So the hackers got into the system, look at their accounting system, and then send these bills and say, hey, go ahead and wire the money to here, and if you do, you'll get a 10% discount off the invoice. And because it's coming from the person who sent it, it seems legitimate. So when we open up this Word, it says that, I need a newer version of it. Otherwise, I have to enable editing. Well, so we're just going to go ahead and enable editing, and it still didn't work. However, over here, I just got a command line prompt. Now this program over here will sit and wait, and it won't give me this green dot until it is ready to go. Once I got that green dot, that means that what is called a payload has been deployed to the computer. So now Alice, not knowing what else she can do, she's just going to go ahead and close this, don't save it, and probably just go ahead and delete this. Now, if you notice, there's no pop-ups happening on this computer. The computer is not slowing down, not anything noticeable. It looks like absolutely nothing happened. But I'm going to show you that this is what hackers are really looking for, is they now have access to your system. And once they have access to it, what can they do with that type of data? So our first step here is we are going to use a spy tool, Espia. So, if you notice on the computer, again, nothing happened. It looks like nothing at all happened, but I just loaded up a tool that allows me to go ahead and spy on them. So we're going to go ahead and grab a screenshot. So, you see what time it is down there? 12:35. So I just got a screenshot from this computer. Now we loaded this onto our own domain name here, and if you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you can click on this or you can type that in and you'll see the screenshot. But here, loaded up on my secondary monitor here, you see this is a screenshot from this computer over here. And the time was when I took it, 12:35. So if there was any proprietary information, if they're looking at spreadsheets or anything like that, well, I have that. Which you might be like, well, great, they can have my screenshots all day long. And when that is true, unless you're looking at your sales list or you're looking at the financials, or the hackers are trying to find valuable data. And while a lot of the data you might consider not valuable, this one could be. But let's go ahead and cancel that now. So now we might want something a little more. So let's go. I want to see the webcam. So you see my webcam light is not on. I'm going to press enter. Starting it up. Blue. Now the user did see that, obviously, right? So they saw for a second there that it hopped on. And here, that was me taking my video. I'm like Wilson from Tool Time. And if I refresh this, I think I canceled it as well, so I turned it off there. But it can sit there and just keep recording that as I want. Now, we don't stream the full video here because that might become very noticeable on the computer. So what you would normally do is have it recording to the local computer and then uploading to a location of your choice. So that way you can review it when you want. And you can combine this with getting a little more complicated by what type of sites are they looking at. And then use that either for a blackmail campaign of recording them when they shouldn't, when they really wouldn't want to be recorded, or go ahead and record the screenshots when you see that they're at Bank of America or when they're at when they're on their accounting system. So adding a lot more logic to this, and far more than I'm going to do in this demo, you can see some real concerns. All right, we're going to go ahead and cancel that. And now we're going to go and grab some really interesting data. Post. Now, many of us like to use that little feature of saving those passwords on your computer. That way, it's nice and easy for you to go ahead and get into those websites. You don't have to remember all those passwords. But I'm going to show you exactly why you do not want to use that feature. And what you'll want to use is a secure password vault. LastPass is a good example of that. Keep is another good example. And these are encrypted password vaults. So that way you can't do what I'm about to do right here. So if you notice, the computer isn't doing anything, right? It's sitting there, and I'm running a bunch of stuff on the background that they can't even see is happening. And I'm downloading different text files, cookie files. Now these might be session cookies, so if you have an encrypted session to your bank, it's possible now I can intercept that, or on some websites, depending on how they did their security, I can spoof that and make that website think I am you. So it's gonna, but it's important to realize that you can be working your day, you're not seeing anything's happening. And they just keep going, and it just keeps going and getting more and more data. And the more scripts we would add to this, the more data we could ultimately capture. So there it looks like it's done. And in this example, I want to see the decrypted data. So I go to my password loot file. And I'm going to look at the times over here. And I'm going to click on this one. Now what I got here is all the saved passwords from this person. You see we have a nice Bank of America, their Yahoo accounts, their LinkedIn, their dropped in, and I have all their passwords. So I can actually go on my computer now if I wanted to and log in as them. So let's go ahead and I won't show it on this demo, but any of you guys that would want to can go ahead and do this. Now, being how this was a demo, I didn't actually create all these accounts. I think maybe this Yahoo one was real. Other than that, I just logged in and saved the password so it shows up in here. But if you log in and have the actual password, this is how they can get that, all without the end user ever seeing it. So as I close this, now let's say I've captured all the data I want. Oftentimes the last step here is to install something a little more permanent, or something that maybe will turn on again in a week, so it sits there invisibly, and a week from now will go ahead and turn on for me. But when I'm all done, I can go ahead and exit. So now that I've exited that, so I've closed out of that application. The attack I ran here was ran entirely inside the computer's memory. So as soon as I logged out of it, it erased all traces of itself. So you can't find out where I was attacking from, what data I took, any of that type of information. And in this short little 10 minutes, I was able to get all the passwords. I could start recording webcam sessions. I could take screenshots, and pretty much anything you could do on this computer with your account, I could do as well. So how do you protect yourself from this? Let's land the plane there. Is what you'd want to do is make sure that you do not enable, in this case, the macros. You don't want to enable macros. 2 is you want to be working with a trained and professional cybersecurity specialist. Many people are great at IT, but if they don't also have cybersecurity training and a knowledge of how to go ahead and do these type of services, they don't know how to protect you against it. And most of the time, the protection comes from employee training and getting sure the employees as a whole understand why we're trying to put all these restrictions on them. Not just go ahead and hey, if you use this protection, it would work, but if the employees don't use it, the business isn't actually protected.